From Washington, this is VOA News. Coming up, numerous hurt in Hong Kong demonstrations, the latest on the Ebola outbreak. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Norman. Riot police in Hong Kong continue to face off with pro-democracy protesters firing volleys of tear gas. As the protests spread early on Monday, at least 26 people were injured in those clashes. Demonstrators are part of a mass civil disobedience movement calling for less political intervention from Beijing in the former British colony. Here in the U.S., President Obama said Sunday that he and the country's intelligence leadership underestimated the extent to which extremist groups like the Islamic State were organizing and weakened Syria. In an interview with CBS News, Mr. Obama also said Washington miscalculated the Iraqi military's ability to fight the militants alone. Airstrikes by a U.S.-led coalition continued on Sunday against Islamic State targets hitting oil refineries near Syria's border with Turkey. Wall Street Journal reporting Sunday that doctors are in short supply and countries are scrambling to find more resources for the Ebola outbreak. The newspaper also reported the existing bed capacity for Ebola patients in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea is about 820, short of the 2,900 beds that are currently needed, according to the World Health Organization. Libya's internationally recognized parliament swore in Prime Minister Abdullah Al-Thani's government on Sunday. Al-Thani government is based in the city of Tobruk after it fled Tripoli following an Islamic militia from the city of Misrata seizing the capital. Get more news at voanews.com. This is VOA News. A car bomb exploded Sunday in Yemen at a hospital run by Houthi insurgents, with authorities reporting a significant number of casualties. An attack occurred in Marib province, about 175 kilometers northeast of the capital, Sana'a. The field hospital has been used by the Houthis to treat their wounded from battles with rival Sunni Islamists leading up to the Houthi takeover last week of the capital. The bomb blasts occurred as hundreds of Yemenis took to the streets Sunday in Sana'a, demanding that the Houthi insurgents leave. U.S. State Department said the United States is stepping up efforts to work with the international community to pursue sanctions against individuals who are threatening Yemen's peace, stability, and security if they do not immediately stop such activities. African conflicts, such as the sectarian strife in the CAR, highlighted over the weekend at the UN General Assembly in New York. More now from VOA's Margaret Bashir.
At the General Assembly annual debate, the Central African Republic's transitional president, Catherine Samba Panza, spoke of the sectarian violence that has displaced hundreds of thousands in her country this year. She welcomed the deployment this month of 7,000 UN peacekeepers. On Thursday, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon hosted a high-level meeting on the conflict in South Sudan. President Salva Kiir failed to show up at the session, but touched on the political problems between himself and rival Riek Machar, telling the General Assembly that his rival had staged a coup. Margaret Bashir, VOA News, the United Nations.
More than 18,000 Indian Americans gave Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi a rousing reception Sunday as he spoke at New York's Madison Square Garden. India's new leader assured the Indian expatriates that his government will not do anything to let them down. Mr. Modi said that there is an atmosphere of hope and enthusiasm in his country. He won election in May, but his trip to the United States is a marked turnaround from 2005, when the U.S. denied him a visa for his alleged complicity in sectarian violence in his home state of Gujarat. Russia's foreign secretary says relations between Moscow and Washington need, in his words, a new reset, referring to President Obama's efforts to improve ties with Russia in the early days of his administration. In a Russian television interview on Sunday, Sergei Lavrov blamed the United States for the strained ties between the two countries. Washington and the European Union have accused Moscow of supporting a pro-Russian rebellion in eastern Ukraine, have been imposed financial sanctions which have been repeatedly tightened since Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula.
That's the latest world news from VOA.